Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I want to use this as an illustration. I hope I can pull this off because the purpose of this is to kind of remind people of maybe a bigger deal, a bigger cause, a bigger problem. Um, there are maybe a better way to put it, a more important things to think about. So the news came out, earlier that George Perez has stage 3 cancer, and that he will likely not, likely 6 to 12 months to live. It's a diagnosis he's been given. Now, there's been miracles in the past, and man, if a miracle is needed, this is one. Let's have one here, where things turn around and the diagnosis proves wrong, and people live on. Definitely hope that's the case. His note was very tough to read. I mean, I choked up reading. I'm choking up remembering it now. I can't. I've had my mind go back to his kind of statement that he made, and I tear up every time. It's because of him talking about going out on his own terms, kind of the way he's viewing his time, his life, his commitment to his family, the people around him, the people who matter, and it's somebody who's very bravely facing this moment. And it's tough. Like I mentioned in the Mount Rushmore of comic creators, Perez would be there for me. I think you got Kirby up there, you have Perez there. Those to me are the two just obvious ones that I pull out of my hat, and I think there's others after that I would pick. But I mean, Perez was a legend and a master, and there's more important things to life, especially when you're facing kind of your end, when you're thinking about the career of a guy. I went to Sir Lonebuck's, actually, comic shop, probably the last time I will visit that shop up here, at least for a long time, until I come back into the area after the move. Again, great shop, great online business. Please go support them. That guy is earnest and pushing to get business and will treat you well. Can't recommend him enough. Anyway, bought a nice hardcover Crisis that I'm going to give to a friend, kind of in this moment, and you're reminded about the fact that Perez has kind of been retired for a bit of time here, and he didn't feel like he had the health to kind of do the work that was up to his standard, which is another brave decision. But he's left behind this mountain of amazing work that he's put together. And a lot of people are focusing on that now, correctly, that they're focusing on the fact that, what can you do? Go buy some of his work, particularly work where he gets a commission, where now that commission can go to his family and he can get some work. Some people online mentioned, now would be a really great time, for Marvel and DC to do something together and get that, JLA Avengers back in print. Get a version. Not only would that sell incredibly well, but provide a nice little royalty check or more to his family. That would absolutely be the right thing for DC and Marvel to do right now. I wish they would. I don't think it's very likely. I think both Marvel owned by Disney, DC owned by AT&T Discovery or Warner, all that connection makes it impossible. So that would be another Christmas miracle. Maybe this is a case where some of the prestige edition formats that are not Marvel or DC but do these reprints, like Joe reviewed with Captain America, or maybe this is one where IDW, their artist edition, can put something out and they can kind of bridge the gap. But if there's ever a time for Marvel and DC to kind of put aside the royalty rights differences and just allow something back in print, now would be the time for Perez. But that's, people are asking, what can we do? Well, biggest thing you could do is buy his work. Some people are talking about setting up GoFundMes for the family and everything else. I don't know that that's, everybody needs more money, but I don't know if that's terribly needed. I think he is fairly secure. But rather than do that, pick the stuff where he does get a royalty, get his trades sold out. That's what you should do. go out and particularly this is something for you and for him. Go out there and buy some of his work. Put some of his material in your collection. Not only are you just doing a beautiful thing for yourself because it's brilliant, but he gets some money off that too. That's a great thing to do. So I was going through and looking at some of the different places I was where you could go to purchase his work. Some of the Avengers stuff that he did with Kurt Busiek, some of the Wonder Woman stuff, the Titan stuff. I mean, there are trades in print. You are giving him a check when you go and you buy that. So go out there. You can look on Amazon and find some things that he's done outside of the big two and others that you can fund as well. Certainly, you can buy original art and all that. That's going to be very expensive now, of course. But there is stuff you can do where he gets some money and you get some great work. But while I was doing that, I couldn't help but notice that when you put in his name and you start really doing some searches on this, that there were little controversies about Perez just a couple years ago, 2016, 2017. And this brings me back to my kind of initial point of focusing on the important things. And the fact that we often, you think there's so much outrage, so much drama, so much nonsense that goes out there. People forget that just a couple years ago, there was a huge controversy around George Perez because he made a comment that he didn't want to attend shows in states that voted for Donald Trump. He felt, anxiety about it. He said he's going to fulfill his current commitments and stop attending shows in Trump states. That was his comment, which he made on his Facebook. This caused a lot of people who are presumably Trump fans to just target and harass him to the point that he deleted his Facebook account and then kind of had to reconfigure some things. And then, finally he talked about he realized, at least to some extent, that it was maybe the wrong choice. And instead, he was recommending, because he was very passionate about the time, back in 2017, that people should make contributions to LGBTQ organizations and, donate, basically. That you should donate, and that more people deserved a fair shake in comics. Not just members of the LGBT community, but also, women writers and others. That he wanted more people to have a fair go of it. Now, I think saying that in 2017 is maybe a different, it's different than how it's often described in 2021. But remember, if you will, that just a few short years ago, there was a big controversy over this. People were angry. People were talking about, I'll never buy anything Perez again, and how dare they? And the other side was saying, no, I'll support Perez, and I'll buy stuff. And the numbers didn't really move one way or another, but everybody was really worked up about this. This was an outrage that was really important to Twitter. That, rather than go into his work and kind of the various things he's contributed, his runs, all of that kind of stuff, the topic around Perez was this comment about what states he was going to visit and what not. And a number of people had the position, and they hold it today for other things, of if somebody's going to hate me, meaning they're not going to come and visit my state because my state voted for Trump, then why should I support them? And like I've said in other videos, and this kind of underscores it, your money is your money. Spend it where you like. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to support anyone. You should feel good about what you're spending. And I think that's your choice to make. And on the other end of the spectrum, other people are going to make choices. Sometimes those choices align with yours, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes you think those choices are good. Sometimes you think they're absurd. But to get completely absorbed and consumed in that, about our differences, about the things that divide us, about the things that are wrong. I guarantee if you're a big George Perez fan and you heard, I'm not going to come to your state because your state voted for Trump, that would hurt. You'd probably be angry. I get it. I entirely get it. Why should imagine, by the way, if you were a strong Hillary supporter and you lived in a state that went Trump, how would you feel? Like you'd feel like, what the hell? I'm on your side politically, and yet I'm still getting punished. You'd be angry about that too. But at the end of the day, life is fleeting. 4 years later, George Perez is announcing this this imminent end to his life after contributing. I was trying to determine hundreds or thousands of comics. I mean, definitely thousands, if not tens of thousands of pages. But Perez has contributed so much to comics. I bet he probably hasn't gotten to 1,000 comics, but I'll bet it's close. I don't know. I may be wildly off. It's just the point is a lot. Here's a guy who has contributed these amazing things. We're about to lose him, and to me, all that screams is let's be more thankful for the people we have when we have them. When a difference does come up, even if it's a difference that hurts, even if it's a difference that feels like it's a personal attack, let's try not to take it that way. If we can, it's hard. These things have been made personal. A lot of people have made a lot of money by helping it be personal, by encouraging it to be personal. They've played the game to their own financial benefit in order to make it personal. But we can't lose sight of the big picture. And the big picture is, when we've got a legend, when we have something that we can just love, let's try and love it. Let's try and appreciate it. Let's try and appreciate what we have, rather than get hung up in the outrage of the day, the mess that none of us remember. I guarantee you, a lot of you listening to this right now, it's like it's coming out of the back of your memory. Oh yeah, that did happen with him. What does it matter? And does it change the work? I can't say 100% of the time we can always turn the other cheek and ignore it. You can't. Sometimes when somebody comes at you in a very personal way, it's impossible to let go. And I think as long as we can try, as much as we can, to not get wound up about every small thing, about everything that is fleeting in the grand look at life is very fleeting. As long as we can not get wound up about all of it, then certainly we can account for getting wound up some of the time. You can't win them all. Again, I love George Perez. Incredible artist, bar none. What he put on the page, he left it all on the page every time. And that's what he means to me. Not any of this other nonsense. What he means to me is that you could pick up a book and you could see somebody who was clearly passionate and cared about what he did. I'd like more of that, please. Thanks for listening.